Hi YouTube, Darth here. Today we've got an interesting topic from the CTE subreddit from DICE Battlelog representative Indigowd, and he asked the community what they thought skill represented. Particularly, DICE is interested in what the community believes makes up a skilled player. This is ostensibly for the purpose of revamping the game stat skill as tracked by Battlelog. So what is skill? Let's talk about how this stat is actually calculated. Surprisingly, it's not magic and chicken bones. Skill as a stat was broken down a year ago by Reddit user Sir Buckeye. As far as Battlelog considers, the simple version is how close you can get to a perfect game. A perfect game is 1000 score per minute, 3 kills per minute, and a 5.0 kill to death ratio. The closer you get to this ideal, the more skill you earn in a round. This has been the case since Battlefield 3. From there, it's ground down into 3 subsections. Score per minute makes up 60% of your skill, kills per minute makes up 30% of your skill, and kill to death ratio is only 10% of your skill. This value is recalculated each round. Your skill score is calculated using previous rounds and the current round. Your previous skill is averaged against your round skill in a ratio of 90-10. So your new skill score will be 0.9 times your old skill plus 0.1 times your new skill. If you previously played a bunch of great rounds but have a subpar round, your skill can swing wildly. It's these wild swings, plus the overall skew towards Conquest Large, that makes skill a relatively useless stat. I've had games where I'll go 30-0, completely crush the enemy team, and win the match, and because I scored more in my previous few games, my skill will go down. So both from a design standpoint and a player perspective, the system has flaws. So DICE is asking players what they believe a skilled player is, and particularly what makes individual roles the most skilled. On the CTE subreddit, Indigowd asked what makes a jet pilot skilled and what makes a recon player skilled. In theory, a well-crafted skill system could be used for matchmaking in future titles or even on the Battlefield 4 CTE. So what do I think makes a player skilled? I've often said that I'll take any player, at least in Conquest, who is willing to cap flags, push objectives, and be a team player any day over somebody who does none of those things but has a 90-1 kill to death ratio. The current skill calculation isn't far off for an ideal player on Conquest. It puts a premium on captures and team play over killing enemies. I think the approach of breaking skill into categories is definitely the correct one in this case. I'd go a step further and break it into game types. A skilled player in Conquest is quite a bit different from a skilled player in Team Deathmatch, and a skilled commander can be vastly affected by things completely out of their control under the current skill system. In fact, it was so bad that after launch, DICE completely removed commanders from the skill system. An interesting question is then, do we calculate all individual skill completely separate from the team's performance, or is the performance of the team supposed to factor into this? In games that have ranking systems, typically the overall team's performance is what affects the ranking in those games. Because of the generally cooperative nature of Battlefield, I'd think that yes, you should be graded on your team's performance. But I also think that this might discourage players from playing in unorganized groups, something that is actually very fun and rewarding. Perhaps it should be a mix, or maybe there should be a different skill rating for yourself and a skill rating for your team play abilities. Let's say for now that we just keep it at a single personal skill rating per game mode. Like I said earlier, I don't think that the current skill rating is far off for most game modes. Score per minute is definitely a fantastic way to start off ranking players. Think about all the things that feed into SPM. Your team play actions like reviving, giving ammo, spotting enemies, destroying vehicles, capturing flags, destroying MCOMs, lasing a target, the list goes on nearly forever. Where the parity breaks down is really between the different game modes. For example, you can earn far more score per minute in Conquest than you can in most games of domination. You can get way more kills per minute in 64-player than you can in 10-player. Even Team Deathmatch has a different rate per minute than Conquest. Does your choice make you less skilled than another player? Heck no. So the game modes that prioritize objective play definitely need to have parity of game score per minute. However, objective gameplay doesn't happen in Team Deathmatch. And for this mode, I think a different prioritization is necessary. While I think that score should be a factor in the skill for this mode, kills and revives are obviously the things that contribute the most to the team's actual victory. And that's really something that should heavily weigh on your skill. Did your team win? If your team didn't win, I don't think you should be rewarded heavily in skill. Mostly the opposite should be true. Except in the rare circumstances where you were the lone player keeping your team from being totally obliterated. If your team won, there really is no reason your skill should go down. Like other games that use ELO, why would you be punished when your team won? Your skill decreasing on a win doesn't make any sense from a player perspective and is one of the primary problems with the existing skill system. Now for individual roles, I think some things are pretty clear. What makes an assault player skilled? Clearly they are focused on kills, clearing, objective play, and supporting teammates with health and revives. Their skills should be focused around this, with certain things given a premium depending on the game mode. For example, killing and reviving is more important on TDM than it is in defending on Rush. For support, it's a similar story, except trade ammo for health. I mean, holy crap, can you imagine if support gave ammo more often in this game? Engineers need to be the vehicle piloting, killing, and repairing machines. Kills on foot matter less than kills in a vehicle. Repairs to teammates and enemy vehicle kills are the primary motivators for non-objective based skill scoring here. Finally, recon should be graded on accuracy and spotting in addition to objective-based gameplay. I'd be very wary about trying to place too much emphasis on things that aren't objective-based gameplay for the recon, as they naturally have a tendency to push themselves away from the game based on their weaponry. In other words, don't reward them for camping a hill. So what ultimately makes a skilled player to me? I think it's the player who plays the objective, whatever that may be, is a great team player, performs well in combat, and plays some pivotal role in their team's victory. As a player of primarily Conquest, the existing skill system is not far off for me. However, I think it doesn't make any sense for other game modes, the number fluctuates far too frequently, and the basis of a KPM efficiency makes no sense for smaller games, and then you can actually lose skill in a winning match. But I'd like to know what you folks think a skilled player is. Let me know in the comments below, but more importantly, let DICE know in the thread I'm going to link in the description. Let them know what you think a skilled player is, and if you are a skilled player, what makes you that way. That's it for this video about skill. Like I said, if you have a spare moment, check out that CTE subreddit, and if you have another spare moment, please give my channel a look if you haven't already. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time, YouTube.